Thursday, July 1st, 2021, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, government keeping a close eye on the Delta variant, a community correctional organization assisting at-risk juveniles, Grey Cliff receives a major international award, and DeAndre helps his sons advance to the NBA Finals. So let's start the morning off right. Of the greatest month of the year. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Charles Fisher. July is here. I'm going to hear this all month. Why is it the greatest month of the year?
Because it's my birthday month. It's Tehran's birthday month. It's Independence month. Everybody, we're going to have a great time. It's Opal's birthday month. There's a lot of us. We're going to have a great time.
And we had a good rain last night to wash away June. I have a lot of friends that were born in June, and they don't have good ways, so the rain washed all that away. So July is bringing in some good showers for you.
Great July, people.
Great July.
That's also good for the crops.
And you're looking very independent this morning.
Yes, courtesy of Linda Stubbs.
So where's mine?
You said your electricity is off, so you left everything at home? What's going on?
As soon as I was getting ready, poof.
So you have a trivia question?
Yeah, we're going to give our Janae's uniform trivia this morning. And since it was raining all last night and this morning, we're going to give away, do you remember this? Tinkerbell. You ever had a Tinkerbell costume when you was young for Halloween?
No.
Well, this is a Tinkerbell raincoat we're giving away. And the question today, what is the national song of the Bahamas? You can dial into 502-3870, and I am waiting on the answers to this question, and the phones are ringing already. What is the national song of the Bahamas? Let's see if persons can get this right. But before we get to that, let's take it out to the streets. We have beauty out there this morning. Antoinette Smith is doing the traffic. Good morning and welcome to the morning.
Good morning to Fisher and LaDawn in the studio, and a pleasant good morning to you, Bahamas. Your Thursday morning traffic report is coming to you live from Blue Hill Road and Carmichael Road. And if you're wondering why we are at a pumping station, well, that is quite simply because we are trying to avoid the rain. And speaking of the rain, we've seen so many cars go by driving very slow because of those conditions. And joining us to tell us more about how to traverse the road during such a rainy time is Corporal Patrick Kem of the Royal Bahamas Police Traffic Division. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning, Bahamas.
So first, of course, we want a look at overnight traffic.
But within the last 24 hours, we have had some 13 accidents. No accidents were reported with injuries. And to date, we have 5 persons that are still hospitalized as a result of accidents.
So as we were catching up this morning, you were telling me that the same old has been going on the streets as it relates to traffic. So tell us some of the no-nos that are continually going on despite our little powwow here every morning.
Well, for example, just coming here to this location this morning, I'm in a long line of traffic on the Cowpen and Blue Hill area, and a vehicle just overtook the long line of traffic and made a left turn. And that is definitely a no-no. That is not what the law prohibits, okay? It does allow you to make a left turn safely and cautiously on the red light, but not to do it in a reckless and dangerous manner. You risk getting in an accident and inconveniencing other persons innocently. Also, persons who are in traffic at a stop, at the red light, we have persons who are impatiently blowing persons from behind to make that left turn. That is definitely a no-no. Those persons should wait until it's their turn to make that left, or if they're heading straight, to head straight. I don't know if you're familiar with driving behind a vehicle that has no brake light whatsoever. That is a problem. You could be driving in sync behind another vehicle and they stop suddenly in front of you, and because they have no brake light, which is the first caution that somebody's slowing down and coming to a stop, it can cost you almost rear-end them. So I'm going to ask those persons out there, please, get your back brake lights fixed.
So obviously those are some of the major road offenses that have been continually being committed. However, today is an extremely peculiar day. It's raining, the roads are slick. What are some tips to drive safely today?
Just drive cautiously. Prepare your road. You should have already prepared your road, to be honest with you. And there's no need, especially on rainy days and wet roads such as today, to be speeding excessively. There is no need for it. And be courteous to the persons on the street. We have persons who might be standing by who are catching bus, and persons are riding in a lot of water and intentionally or unintentionally soaking persons. That's not being the brother's keepers. And I'm going to encourage persons to be mindful to drive with due care and attention, especially on days like this.
Remind us of the general speed limits for the roadways throughout Nassau.
25 miles per hour. At some places you might see signs up, and that's in the inner city. Other than that, 30 miles per hour. To be a safe, considerate speed.
All right, well, we want you to take note of flooding that is along Bay Street. There is also some minor flooding along Wolf Road, and honestly, throughout those low-lying areas in the capital. That is all the time we have today for our traffic report. We're going to toss it back to you in studio, Fisher and LaDon.
Thanks a lot, Anthony. Yes, we are waking up to 75 degrees and thunderstorms and heavy rain last night. Wind southeast at 10 miles per hour. Humidity 86%. Tropical moisture continues to enhance showers and thunderstorms as it streams across the Bahama Islands, while high pressure generates a moderate to fresh breeze over the area. For all areas, weather partly cloudy to cloudy, hot and breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Heavy at times, your daytime high temperature today reaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight low 73 degrees. Friday, couple of thunderstorms, 89 in the day, 80 at night. And then on Saturday, partly sunny, a strong thunderstorm in the day with temperatures reaching 89, 79 in the night. And also for Sunday, expect some rain there as well. Thunderstorm in spots, 89 and 79 your day and night temperatures.
The Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus is now rapidly spreading across the entire United States, with international media reporting that more than 20% of America's new cases can be traced to Delta. This is troubling news for the Bahamas, which has spent the last few months keeping local COVID-19 numbers at manageable levels since entering the third wave. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, among senior officials closely watching the spread of the Delta variant around the world. He again reiterated the need for Bahamians to get vaccinated, which has shown to slow the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
The Delta variant is a serious threat in different parts of the world, and we know that it will reach here. It's not a matter of if, it's when. But we also know that AstraZeneca vaccine is effective against it, and therefore we encourage more people to become vaccinated as possible, and when they travel to the U.S., they must take all the necessary precautions that we've implemented here. The procedures, the policies that we've implemented here, they must follow such procedures while in the U.S., and they would be fine.
Another spike in COVID-19 cases reported in the Ministry of Health's latest release. There are 74 new cases on record, 59 here in New Providence, 7 in Bimini and Cat Key, 4 in Grand Bahama, 2 in Eleuthera, and 1 apiece in Andros and Abaco. The national COVID-19 count stands at 12,699. One of the Eleuthera cases has a travel history within the past 14 days. Of the new cases, 30 are males and the other 44 females. Hospitalizations have jumped to 41, 38 moderately ill, and 3 in the intensive care unit. There are 778 active cases with 30 new recoveries. The COVID-19 death toll remains at 246. The Bahamas Power and Light Company confirming that after a 12-month review, the fuel charge for BPL customers will remain at about 10.5 cents per kilowatt hour through June 2022. BPL is confident that if the current trend continues, the company can project savings of about $40 million to customers and the public treasury from August 2020 to January 2022. The Royal Bahamas Police Force officially welcoming its second female Deputy Commissioner of Police. Loretta Mackey received her instrument of appointment during a brief ceremony Wednesday afternoon. Mackey, who follows in the footsteps of now retired Ismelda Davis Delancey, believes the glass ceiling is shattering for female police officers.
It's an honor to be sworn in as the second Deputy Commissioner of Police for the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and today this is an opportunity for other females who are out there watching, not only the female officers, but also for those persons who might be in high school or who have gone off to college and they're coming back and maybe they're trying to decide what is their career, and maybe them sitting here in their living room watching that being appointed as the Deputy Commissioner of Police would inspire them to probably join the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And for police officers, all the female officers who are out there, that they will continue to work hard, improve themselves, continue to train, and maybe one day they will have the opportunity.
2 suspects wanted for stealing by reason of employment have turned themselves in. 45-year-old Eric Darling surrendered to police Wednesday afternoon, and 25-year-old Lamara Saunders also turned herself in late Wednesday morning. From the courts, a 19-year-old male appeared before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt on a slew of charges inclusive of murder. It is alleged that Lavardo Dean unlawfully and intentionally caused the death of Reno Rankin on Sunday, June 20th, on Sydney Street in Chippenham. Dean faced an additional charge of possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger the life of Vandalyn Pipe from Oldham on June 20th. Prosecutors argued that the Rose Street resident also attempted to cause the death of Deshaun Rogers and robbed Tiffany Gibson of her gray Nissan note valued at $5,000 on June 21st. Dean was not required to enter a plea and was served with a voluntary bill of indictment. He was denied bail and has been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until September 23rd. Meantime, 28-year-old Leonardo Colley was formally charged with murder and attempted murder. It is alleged that Colley unlawfully and intentionally caused the death of Akeem Davis and Lavon Dawkins on May 14th. This along with the attempted murder of Shaquem Campbell and Michaela Gibson from a shooting incident that occurred on 3rd Street, The Grove. Much like his co-accused Dominic Roll, Colley was not required to enter a plea and was denied bail. Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt remanded the defendant to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until September 23rd, where he is expected to return to court for his voluntary bill of indictment. His co-accused Roll has also been remanded and returned to court on August 17th.
Well, the mission is almost complete for DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns after squandering an opportunity to close out the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals at home. DA and the Suns not making the same mistake as they went on the road for Game 6 at the Staples Center. The Suns close out an impressive fashion, winning 130-103 and taking the series 4-2. DeAndre had 16 points and 17 rebounds. He becomes the second Bahamian-born player to make the finals behind Michael Sweetbells Thompson. He also the fourth player of Bahamian descent to make it this far, also joining Rick Fox and Klay Thompson. The Sun now await the win of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Atlanta Hawks. That series is all tied at 2 games apiece. Here's a bit of what DeAndre had to say.
It's actually crazy. The dancing was just finally made it through the series because that was a tough series. I'm not gonna lie, that was a tough series, and it's only my 3rd year, and just seeing the reaction of C made me appreciate it even more. I know people say, live in the moment, but that moment was too long, man. That almost felt unreal. I was like, is this too good to be true? I was like, I'm in this for too long now. But it's life, and we just gotta enjoy this night, get back in the lab, and get ready for the finals.
As the Bahamas celebrates another independence anniversary on July 10th, the morning team will mark the occasion in grand style, whether it's catching crabs in Andros, growing pineapples in Eleuthera, swimming with the pigs down in Exuma, or raising mutton on Long Island. The morning edition will showcase it all, but with your help. So send us a video of what your island produces to kanoshisims@gmail.com.
Days, the country will celebrate its 48th independence anniversary and have achieved so much over the past 4 decades. But just what did it take to get here? Well, joining us live to answer that is archaeologist and research officer of the Antiquities Monuments and Museums, Dr. Grace Turner. Dr. Turner, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you, and good morning.
Well, Dr. Turner, tell us a little bit about how did we become an independent nation?
Well, it took a while. So the lead up, first we had several constitutional changes. not specific to the Bahamas, but being a British colony. First, January 1964, we had the institution of internal self-government. That's when the leader of the government got the title premier, and the first premier was Roland Simonet. And the leader of government had the authority at that point to form a cabinet government to assist in governing the country. So that was the first time we had cabinet ministers. And at that point, there were no more than 10 ministers. The first general election after that constitutional change, as Premier Pindling pointed out later, was the 1967 general election that was eventually won by the Progressive Liberal Party. And the ambition at that point was to, within the next 5 to 10 years, have the country become independent. And when there was the death of Uriah McPhee in 1968, rather than having that as a by-election, that became a general election. And when the PLP won an overwhelming support in that election, then there were several more constitutional changes. And the biggest ones of those was to formally and officially named the country the Commonwealth of the Bahama Islands. The leader of the government now became the prime minister. And at that point, expatriates with status in the country were no longer considered belongers. They needed to have a residency certificate issued by the governor of the time. And some of the powers of the British governor were reduced. All of this was in preparation for final independence. And that decision was made in the early 1970s. By 1970, the Progressive Liberal Party was comfortably the government. There was a general election that was held in 1972, and the Progressive Liberal Party government, they recognized that once they were given the mandate to govern the country for the next 5 years, within that term, the Bahamas was to become independent.
And Dr. Turner, to interject just a little, do you think that Bahamians need to do more to actually show their Bahamian pride?
Oh, definitely. When we became independent, I was much younger, but we were all so enthused to be Bahamian, to be becoming independent, and I think now we've become a bit complacent. We're almost up to 50 years, and we're now, we're taking it for granted. But I was in that generation who transitioned, who knew a little about the Bahamas before that. And in my parents' generation, oh, they were ecstatic because these were changes for some of the older people. They were thought to be unimaginable. And now it seems as if we have gotten to a point where we take things too much for granted.
And how should we, as Bahamians, celebrate, I guess, our independence despite the threat of COVID-19?
Well, in spite of COVID-19, there are some restrictions now, but I love the fact that for the past several years, we celebrate throughout the month of July. I like that. I like the enthusiasm that it brings. It encourages people to show their national pride. But I think beyond July, we need to show our pride and celebrate our country for the rest of the year as well.
Dr. Turner, thank you so much for that insightful information on our independence, and all the best to you the remainder of this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hundreds of students across this country graduated from high school over the past few weeks and are now in search of job opportunities to assist them with either college or university or to meet other financial obligations. The morning team tracked down Executive Director of the National Training Agency, Gadville McDonald, to find out what types of jobs are readily available.
There are entry-level jobs available in the hospitality industry, whether that be in housekeeping, food and beverage, a front desk clerk, We're finding out that jobs available in the restaurant industry, cashier, server. What is surprising to us is the number of available opportunities, for entry-level opportunities in the retail sector. We're finding out that people are looking for persons in the customer service areas of their establishment, whether that be a cashier, whether that be a server, or in some other capacity.
McDonald says while a lot of young Bahamians have started their own small businesses, he's encouraging those seeking employment to bring the right attitude and to be more committed to learn.
Companies want to know whether students have the necessary soft skills that will enable them to succeed in the workplace, and whether they can make meaningful contribution to the job in the shortest period of time. We discovered that companies willing to take a chance on young people, but they want to know whether they are committed to the learning curve.
A training organization that has been around for more than a decade is taking its program to Grand Bahama. Natalia Hall has that.
Lead Institute was established in 2009 in New Providence. According to the president of the training organization, Troy Clark, since that time, the organization has reached hundreds of inmates, and its alternative school program has an 85% success rate. Now, the purpose of the organization is to provide programs for those in the community who are at risk.
In the educational system, as well as pre to post release inmates transitioning from prisons, whether in North America, the Caribbean, or the Bahamas.
Clark says a drug treatment program is offered as well, and the organization is affiliated with Liberty University. And as for his reason for establishing the organization on Grand Bahama, he says following Hurricane Dorian, studies showed that some residents experience mental health issues.
It only made sense to come here and find out exactly what's happening, and so I've been here. July 2nd will make a year, and so during that time I would have done my initial research on the homeless population, along with see exactly what's happening in the communities, and I realized that there's a need for a drug treatment center or behavioral health care center. So we decided to establish 3 months ago a behavioral health care facility here. And so the main focus of this facility here would be to work with the Ministry of Education, Program Shaw Genesis Academy, and the community at large with individuals who suffer from mild mental health disorder and substance use.
Clark was a Defense Force officer for over 10 years, a social worker as well as a probation officer at the prison. He now serves as deputy chairman of the Correctional Service Review Board. The president admitting that he was an at-risk youth himself.
When I was in high school, I ran track and field, but never made a 2.0 and just made it enough to graduate. But later on, I became a Life Key scholar, and watching a lot of young men not having the resiliency, the coping mechanism to actually ward off the issues that they face, and growing up in a single parent home in the inner cities, I realized the challenges young men especially face, and that in itself brought me to work within this environment.
As we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On July 1st, 1965, the American distributors of Carib Records awarded a gold record to their Bahamian recording star Tony Seymour for the success of his song Pretty Blue Eyes. Also on July 1st, 1999, the Public Hospital Authority was established as a corporate body responsible for the management of the Princess Margaret Hospital, Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, and the Rand Memorial Hospital over there in Grand Bahama.
Team Bahamas swinging into Davis Cup action yesterday in Panama. Up first was a matchup against Cuba. Kevin Major Jr. took to the court first and rebounded from a slow start to win the 3-set match 4-6, 6-2, and 2. Following KJ's win was Justin Roberts making his Davis Cup debut. He too won his match 6-4 and 4 to clinch the team win for the Bahamas.
Today was a special day for me. I mean, It's been a day I look forward to for a long time to play for the Bahamas and Davis Cup. Got the job done. It wasn't pretty, but that's just because it was so important to me to play, to finally be able to play. So, yeah, I went up 6-4, 5-3. It was deuce when we stopped. The man was serving. Then the rain came down, and we had about an hour and a half delay, which was nice. I mean, we played some cards, we were chilling. It wasn't very stressful at all. Came back out. The 2 games I played were okay, but good enough to get the job done.
Marvin Roll and Baker Newman played the doubles match. They lost in 3 sets, 4-6, 7-6, and 6-2, but that result didn't matter. Roll, who is also serving as team captain, spoke about how it went overall on day number 1.
KJ played a veteran from Cuba. This guy is 47, but this guy was 300 in the world at one point. Plays very smart, and he played an amazing first set. But KJ was able to hold his own and stay calm and played a great 2 sets after that and pulled it out. Justin Roberts came out. He definitely was nervous, but it's very understandable playing first time for Davis Cup. But he's able to hold his nerves, and he came out with the win. And me and Baker went out there. We came out strong in the first set. We had our chances in the second set to close it out, but you know, sometimes that's the way it goes. And in the third set, you know, they played a little bit better, and they pulled it out. But overall, it was a good team effort. You know, proud of the guys today. We look to play Guatemala on Friday. Guatemala will be a tough team, so let's go Bahamas.
Members of the sporting and cultural community all showing up last night to pay respects to one of their own, Peter Gilcott, known as the Cud, Macaroni, and Superstar. Gilcott passed away on June 3rd. Thereafter, sports. Tim Munnings among those paying tribute on behalf of the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Aram Lewis.
Saddened by the news of his untimely passing, as Mr. Gilcott had recently engaged us in discussions of more of his ideas to further push both cultural and sporting programs in the country. Peter was never short on ideas and never shy to share. We have truly lost a friend and a patriot. We've lost one of Jazz Chisholm's biggest fans and an advocate for his selection as an all-star for the Major League Baseball. Yes, he sent out a clarion call to vote for Jazz, vote for Jazz. He loved promoting his Bahamian men and women.
A private graveyard ceremony will be held at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Western Cemetery on Nassau Street.
The popular Grey Cliff restaurant has been honored with the Grand Award and Wine Spectator's 2021 Restaurant Awards. Only 103 restaurants around the world have earned this distinction. In 1988, Grey Cliff was the first restaurant outside of the United States to receive the coveted Grand Award. The renowned wine cellar is home to over 275,000 bottles with over 6,500 selections from 20 countries. The morning team caught up with CEO Enrico Garzaroli to talk about what this award means for the restaurant.
What it means for us is that the passion, we all, sommelier and owners at the Grey Cliff and me, we do to please the guests as much as we can, and giving them the best possible experience, and then giving this unique dining experience.
Can I have a drum roll for the answer of this morning's trivia question? Deandra Stubbs guessed the answer. She can pick up a Tinkerbell from today. God Bless Our Sunny Climb, written by Philip Rami, music by Clement Bethel and Timothy Gibson. And now Dawn Davis is going to serenade us with the first line of that song this morning.
God bless our sunny climb, spur us to heights sublime, to keep men free. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
And I know a lot of folks, they called in and gave the national anthem. Many folks didn't know that we had a national song. And what's the name of the song again?
God bless our sunny climb. And be sure to stay tuned to the ZNS Network for news as it happens, TV and radio updates throughout the day. Then you can tune into the Northern Edition and the Bahamas Tonight at 7. And that's a wrap for us this morning.
And for the Grammy Award-winning LaDawn Davis, I'm Charles Fisher. Have a great day.
Have a great morning.
God God bless us on ye climb, spur us to heights sublime, to keep men free. Let brothers, sisters stand, firm trusting hand in hand, throughout Bahama land. One brother